What people don't realize is there's a lot of athletes who go crashing into the stands in the heat of the moment of competition.
There's been a couple times that we've gotten together and gotten into a little bit of trouble.
Well, you're limited at venues where Reggie can take a break, so oftentimes you just had to find a bathroom or a closet or whatever.
My friend was just bombarded with kids coming up and pulling his tail and pulling his leg, and even moving around. Reggie accidentally knocked over like 3 kids trying to get out of the way. Oh yeah, the parents absolutely loved it. They were laughing, oh my God, Reggie knocked over my kid. It was hilarious.
When they saw a swing open their doors, they were terrified.
Luckily, Reggie was able to get out of the situation just by being adorable, but yeah, that would have been a fun conversation to have once we got back to campus.
My name is Terrence Mayfield, and I knew Reggie from 2020 to 2023.
I knew Reggie between the years 83, 84 and 84, 85. He was my best friend.
When I was in high school, I was friends with a mascot by the name of Charlie Kohler, and great friends there, and was looking for the best university fit. And when I came to ISU and met Reggie, I knew it was going to be a great friendship, and this campus becomes like home.
My first semester, I was looking for some way to get involved with the university. I went to a lot of basketball and football games, saw Reggie hanging out on the sideline, and thought, that's a weird thing to do, and auditioned. Luckily, they needed somebody at the time, and I just so happened to be chose to be Reggie's newest best friend.
I was a 3-sport athlete in high school, and so leaving high school, I really missed that aspect of my life. So when I got to ISU, I went to every single sporting event, whether it was volleyball, basketball, football, swimming, whatever it was, I was at every event.
I became friends with Reggie in the year 82, 83. It happened to be at one of the homecoming football games. My parents and I were sitting there watching, and my mom was pretty animated about Reggie and watching him do his antics, and suggested that he's someone that I should get to know in person. So that's what I did. I searched out and was able to find Reggie and get to become good friends with him.
I was in the dorms during the COVID year, and I get an email. And it says, you want to be friends with Reggie Redbird? I said, sure.
Hang out with Reggie is, something I will never forget. But there is sacrifice in hanging out with Reggie as much as we did in terms of getting to do other things that a college student would do.
So I kept it a secret, as we're supposed to, and so I always say that I was like Hannah Montana, Miley Cyrus during my college years because I had 2 separate lives.
Reggie never explained to me why I couldn't tell anybody about our friendship, but I honored that.
Your roommates start catching on because you're coming home and you're red, dry fit, and you're completely soaked from sweat, and then you can't attend the Saturday's game.
There were many, many times where friends were looking for me at these games, and I was nowhere to be found.
Yeah, it was a secret, and I really enjoyed it because I was able to mess with my friends when they didn't even know it was, me.
You go through some of your day not being friends with Reggie, and then you go through other parts of the day being friends with Reggie, and it's really 2 different lives, because a lot more people pay attention to you when you're friends with Reggie.
Bradley was our arch rival, and at the time, Dick Versace was the head coach for basketball at Bradley University, and Dick Versace had jet white hair. So Reggie and I decided to go to the store, and we bought a bunch of cotton balls and made a white wig to stick on top of Reggie's head. ISU was beating Bradley pretty bad, and Mr. Versace did not like the fact that Reggie had jet white hair.
There was this one time we were supposed to go to a wedding of a really good fan of ours. We ended up at the wrong wedding. Walked in the wedding. And then we find out they went to Bradley.
Well, that's my favorite part about Reggie is that whenever he walks in the room, it's like a smile's on everybody's face.
At the end of my time of being Reggie's friend, I ran the group of Reggie's friends, and how we tried to determine whether or not somebody could be a friend of Reggie's. We would take them to the Children's Museum in Uptown Normal, And that was always fun, getting to see Reggie and his friends interact with the little kids.
The best part about knowing Reggie was his ability to make people smile and feel good.
One of my most memorable experiences with Reggie is when he took me to a kid's birthday party. One kid, I want to say she was about 4 years old, so terrified of Reggie. And we spent 20 minutes, genuinely, during this basketball game, just getting this kid to warm up to Reggie. That was the most joyous I had ever seen Reggie during my time with him.
My favorites were always with kids involved, because they were either terrified or extremely excited, or a little mix of both. Maybe they started extremely excited and then got terrified, or the other way around. So my favorite part of those events was really just making those kids feel loved and seen by Reggie, and just making them feel comfortable. And
anytime you can put a smile on a young fan's face, anytime you can see them light up, especially when they're having a difficult time, those are the times you remember. The first year I was hanging out with Reggie, full speed women's basketball player about to crash into the bleachers, and all of a sudden Reggie's able to step in front and catch that athlete before she goes smack dab into the bleachers there. Now, Reggie, it took a little bit out of him, but rather him be able to kind of step in and save the day there, lend a wing.
The Illinois State cheerleading squad goes to take pictures in front of the St. Louis Arch. Reggie comes with for pictures. And there was one year Reggie, for whatever reason, because he is a giant redbird, decided to climb up a tree and hang out. He liked to do this around campus. We did that quite often. We had a social media campaign for Reggie's Tree of the Month when I was friends with Reggie. And he climbed up a tree. Unbeknownst to him, that's a national park. And the National Park Police don't love it when a 6-foot redbird climbs up a tree. And so they came and got to have a fun conversation with Reggie and the cheerleading coach. And that almost, luckily Reggie was able to get out of the situation just by being adorable. But yeah, that would have been a fun conversation to have once we got back to campus.
there were some intoxicated groomsmen that came in, happened to see Reggie's feet underneath the stall, and then they had the best time just communicating via knocks, with Reggie. So they were like, hey Reggie, knock once if you want a vodka Sprite, knock twice if you want a rum and Coke.
ISU scores a touchdown. He went close to the stands, and some of fraternity was able to grab Reggie, and they picked him up and started carrying him up the bleachers. So they were passing him up, going up the length of the stands of the bleachers, and the cheerleaders had to come rescue my friend.
Everybody's celebrating. The stadium is going crazy. One of the football players runs up to Reggie. Of course, he's twice his size. Goes, Reggie! And chest bumps Reggie so hard that Reggie suffered a bit of a wardrobe malfunction.
I was fortunate enough that when I was hanging out with Reggie, our men's basketball team made back-to-back Sundays at Arch Madness, so being on CBS was pretty cool for those.
Anytime you got to experience postseason play with the Redbirds was always a highlight, because, as we talk about Illinois State being the home of champions, Reggie's very proud of that.
We also, with the Big Red Marching Machine, Reggie and I got to go to Soldier Field and perform at halftime of Sunday Night Football, and that was pretty wild.
So I got to go with Reggie to Benny the Bull's birthday, I'll say, extravaganza. You're watching Reggie on the court as the Chicago Bulls get introduced in front of a sold-out United Center, and to watch Reggie be part of that introduction. Reggie got to go up and hang out with Southpaw and a lot of other mascot friends, and it was interesting. Before the game, got to watch Reggie actually interact with the Chicago White Sox and Detroit Tigers, is who they were playing at the time before the game, and get to meet them and visit with them. So, a chance to meet some of the world's best athletes before one of those events.
Not many people can say that they rode on the Victory Bell down the middle of Hancock Stadium on homecoming. Not many people can say that they were able to do all these different events around campus and the community and up in Chicago and really across the country. Being a friend of Reggie is certainly, it's a pretty sweet gig, and it allows you more opportunities outside of just being a friend of Reggie. So after my time with Reggie was done, hanging out with him, I got to hang out with some other friends for a Major League Soccer club. I got to hang out for a season with a friend on the south side of Chicago at a certain large baseball stadium. And then that ultimately led me to an opportunity to, after I was done with my graduate degree, to go be friends with the mascot in Hiroshima, Japan for a baseball club there. So, and none of that would ever be possible if I didn't decide one winter afternoon to email the athletic director of Illinois State and say, hi, I would like to hang out with Reggie.
One of my very first experiences with Reggie was a birthday party. And at this birthday party, at one point, both me and Reggie go downstairs into their little basement area.
Reggie's even come and visited our house.
And there is, I kid you not, a Reggie shrine.
My entire basement is Illinois State themed, so to show Reggie some street signs and some framed jerseys and some different things from my time hanging out with Reggie, being able to share that and kind of reminisce over those moments with him was good.
I definitely checked where the exits were.